fellow diamond painting addicts, and welcome back to Diamond Painting Anonymous. I'm Daphne, and I am here today for my latest WIP and chat. This is my latest work in progress, or WIP, and so I'm going to be working on this while I'm chatting with you guys. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. I am going to be working on this and trying to finish up one of my last projects for 2021. So you are welcome to go grab whatever it is that you are working on and join me and work along on your project as I work, or you can just watch while I chat. Either is fine. So I'm just going to jump in. I'm going to peel the last little section of paper here, and I'm going to rotate this so that it is a little closer to me so that I can work better. And then I'm going to zoom you guys in so that you can see. That should get everything in focus for you guys. So this is my third project that I wanted to start to get finish up my projects for 2021. So as you can see, I'm almost done with this one. I have also started one of my journals so that I can use up all of my logbook pages like I was telling you guys previously. So let's see what has gone on since I talked to you guys last. First, I hope everyone had a very merry, happy, and healthy holiday, however you're celebrating it. We had a really good time. We went over to my sister's house and had sandwiches and chips and some pie, and then we opened presents, and a good time was had by all. So we stayed for a little while, watched some TV, talked some smack with each other, you know, like you do when you get together for family gatherings. And then we all went home. My husband and I still do stockings for my kids and each other. So we got those all set up before we went to bed last night. And make sure I'm doing the right number here, right symbol. And then we all kind of slept in. I didn't get up Christmas morning until, I think it was 8:30. My husband and my oldest were already up. I had to wake up my youngest. So after he was up, we all opened gifts, and everybody had a good Christmas, if I do say so. My son got a computer monitor that he'd been wanting. He plays a lot of games, and this one is supposed to be better for games. Although, you know, it's how it always goes, isn't it? We got him this monitor because it was supposed to be faster. And I don't understand all the tech specs, but my husband assured me that it would be faster. Well, we apparently need to upgrade our HDMI cables that he uses. So those are currently on order. It's always something, isn't it? And then my daughter didn't ask for anything really big. She just kind of got little gifts here and there. Her biggest gift was cash. And we bought her basically a subscription to Amazon Prime for the year. So I don't know if that's what it'll get used for. That's what we gave her, was a gift card that would pay for Prime for a year. Last Christmas we did the same thing, and she ended up just spending it on stuff that she wanted to order. So, you know, whatever. My husband got a new portable hard drive that he had been wanting, and I went ahead and put his AirPods underneath the tree, so he got his Christmas/birthday present already, and he loves them, so that's good. And then I got not AirPods, but a set of earbuds that I can use with my phone that are supposed to be good for people who have small ears. So I guess children, my son is always making fun of me. My feet are very small, and so I actually often buy my socks in the children's section because they fit better. And I could buy them in the women's section, but you know, when you're at the lower end of the scale and you get socks that are made for, you know, someone who has size 8 to 12 feet, if you have size 8, yes, they fit, but you have room. If you have size 12 feet, they're kind of tight. So I often buy mine in the kids section because they end up fitting better. My son's always giving me crap and telling me that I'm bringing home socks from the preschool, et cetera, et cetera. And not all of us can have size 12 feet, is what I tell him. So, so I got earbuds, and then I got the Apple Watch that I had asked for, which my son is giving me no end of grief about because for a long time I wouldn't use anything Apple. And now I have an iPhone, I have used an iPad, I now have an Apple Watch, and I switched over to a Mac. So he's always giving me guff and telling me, oh, Mom, you're just an Apple shill now. Which, you know, may be true, but I definitely like some of the things about it. The jury is still out on the Apple Watch. You know, I wanted something that I could wear on my wrist that could be a pedometer for me because my son and I were walking a lot. And I wanted to keep track of that. And then also when I'm at work, when we go out to like the playground and stuff, it's kind of a pain to remember to carry my phone with me. And also, you know, I always have a pocket for it to go in. That's convenient. And, you know, it's just, I'd rather have something that was a little less obtrusive. And so I thought, well, I'll get an Apple Watch and this will let me do some of that stuff. And I don't know if it's my age. I don't know. Just, you know, you go into their quick setup and it's like, do this, this, and this, and I'll all be set up. Yeah, it's never that simple when I'm involved. First of all, the watch was completely dead, had no charge at all when I opened it. So I had to sit and wait for it to charge. And then, of course, there's an update. So then I have to wait for it to charge enough to download and install the update. So, you know, an hour and a half later, I'm still sitting there. And so, you know, I start looking through it and kind of playing around with the app on my phone. And I want to change it so that the display looks a different way and blah, blah, blah. And I don't know if it's just because I'm not, you know, a digital native, but I couldn't figure out how to get it set up to display the watch face that I wanted. So my watch faces were on there, but I can't get it to display anything else. And then I was going through and trying to see, you know, what apps were on the phone because a lot of them, like, I don't personally ever use Siri. I don't talk to my phone. If I'm going to look for something, I'll just type it in. So, I was looking through that. Then somehow I accidentally opened the settings for my phone on the watch. Well, I don't want that on the watch, so I was trying to get rid of that, and then I accidentally deleted something else. I'm not even sure what I deleted. So, and I'm sure it's something that I can get back, but I was just so frustrated. And of course, my husband, who loves all things Apple, can't stand to just let me do it myself. He wants to get his hands on it and then do everything for me. And I'm like, I don't want you to do it for me. I need to learn how to do it myself. Now, that's really hard for him because when I get frustrated, I walk away. Because I get to a point where I'm like, if I have to keep messing with this, with my frustration level where it is, I'm going to chuck this thing across the room. So I have to walk away and go do something else and then come back to it. Well, that drives him crazy. He wants to just fix it for me. And I'm like, once again, I don't want you touching it. I don't want you fixing it. I want you to just leave it alone and let me figure it out on my own. Well, he can't do that. And then I get frustrated because he won't leave it alone. And so, of course, he ends up taking my phone. And then after sitting there playing with it for a few minutes, he's like, oh, well, you just have to do this. And basically it's like, well, you long press here and you blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, nowhere in any of the instructions does it tell me that I need to long press on anything. So how am I supposed to know that? Well, you just got to play around with it. And I'm like, well, if that's the solution, then they need better people to write their tech manuals, because that is not helpful. Now, maybe they assume people are digital natives and that they will just know how to do that because you do that in a lot of other Apple stuff. But I mean, I'm not a native Apple user. I haven't always used an Apple. I'm just now migrating over. And so probably a lot of things that would seem intuitive to other people who are used to the Apple ecosystem are not intuitive to me at all. So yeah, it was just an exercise in frustration. So I haven't even worn my Apple Watch yet because I was about to check it across the room, honestly. So I just left it on the charger to let it completely charge. And then I decided I'm going to go find some videos or something to watch to help me. Okay, so I am down to my last color. And these are my latest storage purchase. So if you guys like the look of these, I will put a link to them down below. These are just like my other storage ones. You squeeze on the sides and they pop open. I think they're supposed to be like pill bottles or bead containers. I don't know. But I saw them and I liked them because they were black. So I got them. And there's 30 of them in a container instead of just 28. So they're okay. They hold a lot of drills because they're bigger, and I like that about them. So they still have not taken over my 28 ones. I still like those, the square ones. These I thought I would like because they were rounded on the corners, but they're just, I don't know, just not as, oh man, I lost my glue dot. That's why. I'm like, why is nothing sticking? Because my glue dot came out. Okay, let me try this again. Okay, this pin is going to be annoying. All right, switching back to my other one, just so I can finish, because I want to get this one done. And now that all I have left is all of this white, which normally I would not get a painting that had this much white in the background, but because most of it was taken up with the circle of the colors, I thought, well, having all of this white as a background wouldn't be too bad because it's just kind of the outline of the circle. So, and it hasn't been terrible. It's still not my favorite thing to do this much white, but I'm almost done, so it's all good. So I'm going to do a little bit of checkerboarding here just to kind of break things up for myself while I'm talking. So I had two of my journals that I had diamond painted previously that I took to our Christmas Eve celebration and gave to my sister and my sister-in-law. So they weren't really in my stash, but they were in my craft room taking up space. So those are gone now. And I'm going to finish one of the other ones. So that means I only have one journal left. So, and I could go ahead and finish it for 2021. I would have enough time. But I think since like I said, my diamond painting logbook only has that one page left, I'll just finish the one journal and then I'll just call it good for the end of the year. That will leave me enough time, I hope, to kind of get some stuff set up and ready to go for the filming that I want to do for 2022. Because I do want to have some videos and things ready to go for you guys right at the beginning of the year, which is kind of weird to be filming some of this, on holidays and stuff, but I guess that's how YouTube works. Never a day off, right? I mean, I could film stuff ahead of time so that I wasn't having to work on holidays and things, but I mean, it's not work necessarily, you know what I mean? I could put it off since I'm my own boss, but I really wanted to just get some of this stuff done. Like I said, I've already kind of started that countdown in my head of how many days of vacation I have left. And I mean, I have plenty of days left, but I'm already in my head, oh, I only have this many days left, so I got to do this, 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 and this, which none of that has to happen. Nothing's, you know, all these deadlines are kind of self-imposed. So, but I do like to be consistent, and honestly, that has been something that I've struggled with my whole life. So I'm trying to do a better job of being consistent with the channel, just as kind of a challenge to my own self. So move these drills around again. Not sure how long this is going to take me. If I'll finish this in the time I have allotted for my whip and chat, but we shall see. So this was actually a pretty fun one to work on. This is a canvas from Fansells, and I will put a link in the description below so that you can check it out if you want to. This is another one of those that is that kind of stained glass style that I really like. I've done a couple of these already, and I have a couple more that I want to do. So, and I was putting together some more random acts of kindness, so I didn't get them sent out before Christmas like I wanted to, but I did at least get them put together. So now that it's not Christmas, once the post office opens up again, I can just take them down to the post office and get them in the mail. So they probably will still take a while because there's still people mailing things, I'm sure, even after the holidays. There's probably still going to be a little bit of a crunch, but the sooner I get them in the mail, the sooner they will get out to people, right? So we spent part of Christmas playing games. I think I've mentioned before, I'm kind of the games player of the family. I used to get a new game every Christmas. That hasn't happened for a while. Probably because I don't ask for anything specifically. I think I mentioned in my family anymore, the adults just kind of trade gift cards back and forth. So I haven't asked for anything as a specific gift in probably years. But we all did get Amazon cards and stuff. So one of the things that I need to do sometime this coming week is go in and pay off a couple of our bills. We put a lot of our Christmas purchases on our credit card, so I got to get those paid off before we have to start paying interest. And I need to finish paying off our store credit card from when we bought my new computer and my husband's new phone, to get those paid off. And then once I do that, I can concentrate on all the other things. I still need to get my son to register for his next semester of classes so I can get tuition paid. I always like to get that out of the way as early as I can because it's such a huge chunk of change. Of course, he likes to wait until the last minute to register for classes, so it's always a challenge to see how quickly I can kick him into gear and get it done. So, I mean, it's not a huge deal, I guess, but he is on a scholarship. And so if he waits until the last minute, of course, they don't have the financial aid in there usually until after the semester starts, if he hasn't registered for classes, which means I have to pay that tuition up front. We get reimbursed for, the amount of his scholarship, but then I have to wait. I'm like, it would be much easier if you would just get registered so that when I went to go pay classes, that amount was already in there. And then I didn't have to, fork it over and then wait for them to send it back to me. Which it's not like we're ever out the money, but it's not his money, so he doesn't see the point, I guess. So, anyway, so everyone is busy playing with all of their newly acquired whatevers. And I'm in here filming this. Hopefully it's not too noisy and you're not getting too much background noise. One of the things that I got was a new microphone that plugs directly into my phone that I use for filming. I have a microphone currently, but it's one that wasn't made for iPhones, so I had to have a dongle because, of course, iPhones don't have a headphone jack anymore. Why? Because they want you to buy AirPods. So, and then I think I'm going to use some of my Christmas money and I'm going to get a subscription to Skillshare. I've seen so many people talking about it. I actually know somebody who had some classes that he put on it once upon a time. And I'm curious. So I'm going to sign up for it for a couple of months and take some classes that I've kind of had my eye on and see if I like it and if I want to keep doing it, or if I decide it's not worth the subscription price. So, because we've had subscriptions to several things and I'm like, I just need it long enough to do what I want to do and then I'm done. Like we had a subscription to Discovery ID for 3 months maybe. And in that 3 months, I watched all of the shows that I wanted to watch. Now, at some point, I'm sure they'll have new shows that I could watch. But for, those months while I'm waiting for new stuff to kind of accumulate, I can be using that money to pay for a different subscription and watch shows on a different streaming service. And then when I'm done with that, I'll switch to something else. So my husband keeps trying to talk me into getting a subscription to Adobe's Creative Cloud because I've used Photoshop for years. I'm not a fantastic user of Photoshop by any means, but I have used it for years, and so I kind of know the ins and outs of it just because I've used it for so long. And I keep telling myself that I'm going to install GIMP and learn GIMP because it's free and then I won't have to worry about trying to update everything all the time. Because the version that I've been using of Photoshop forever is CS6, which is the last version that you could actually purchase outright before they went to their subscription service. So I just am not a huge fan of subscription services in general, personally. I mean, I see why they're useful and I get why companies like them, but as a consumer, they're not my favorite thing. And maybe that's just, because I'm old. And I grew up back when, if you wanted a game, you went to the store, bought the CD, took it home, installed it on your computer, and away you went. Now, everybody wants you to just download everything, which is great if you happen to have an internet provider that doesn't put a data cap on you. I am not lucky enough to be one of those people. We have a data cap. And so, my son 1 month was having issues with his computer and we kept having to wipe it and start all over. And so he would re-download all of his stuff. Well, some of his games, I mean, he was spending, 100 gig downloading all of the stuff that he needed. Well, when you only get 1,000 gigs a month and somebody spends 100 of it in one day, it doesn't last very long. So, and every time I have to pay overage fees, I just got irritated. And, they'll tell you, oh, well, just get our unlimited plan. Yeah, except your unlimited plan throttles us, which is complete BS as far as I'm concerned. We have the same thing on our phone. Technically, our phone has unlimited data, but we only get so many gigabytes per month. And then after that, it slows way, way down. Now, none of us really use our phones enough for data that we ever go over. And we do have rollover for a certain number of months. So we almost always have data left over on our phones, which I keep telling my husband we need to remember. So when we get close to going over data on our home internet, we just use our phones and use up the data that we're paying for that we're not using. I remember when the internet first arrived, and remember when you used Netscape because that was basically the only browser in town. And we had, you paid for a service and you only had a certain number of basically minutes per month. I mean, essentially it was like it is now. It was a data limit, but it was back when you were still doing, dial up essentially on your modem. So you had to tie up your phone line to use your computer. Yeah, kids don't know how hard we had it, do they? How easy everything is these days. We were just talking when I was over at my sister's for Christmas. We were just talking about how, back when we were growing up, sometimes things were just a mystery. If somebody wondered something, unless somebody had the answer, you couldn't just go Google it. Like, we're sitting around. My brother's example was Tom Petty comes on the radio and you're like, I wonder how old Tom Petty is. You couldn't just go to your phone and Google it and find out when he was born, where he was born, when he died, all that kind of stuff. You just had to wonder. Or wait until you were somewhere where you could get to an encyclopedia, like a library. Does anybody even use those anymore? Everybody just goes to Google and searches for everything. We were laughing. My husband saw a story. One of our local universities, the professor of the class put a note in his syllabus and hid some cash. Well, I shouldn't say cash. I don't know if it's cash or not. He hid some money. And he put information about where it was hidden in his syllabus, just as a test to see if anybody would read the syllabus. And at the end of the semester, the money was still there. And so my husband was sharing the story. And I can't believe no one in the entire class of all of his classes read the syllabus, not even one person. And my son's like, Mom, I don't read the syllabus. And I said, well, why not? I mean, they don't just give it to you for no reason. It's always the same stuff over and over. And I'm like, okay, yes, I understand that. There are policies and things that every professor has to put in their syllabus per the university guidelines. So yes, there are sections of it that are the same. But they also are supposed to put like a calendar in there of, when your tests are, when your finals are, assignments, due dates, that kind of thing, especially when you're talking about an online class. And my son's like, yeah, but we don't read any of that. I don't read any of that because it's integrated with their system that they use called Blackboard, which is like an online, like discussion board / whatever, program that they use. And so it automatically populates his calendar with due dates and stuff. So he doesn't ever look at the syllabus. I'm like, well, that's dumb, clearly. Because if you had been in this guy's class, you might be richer. So anyway, I guess boomer rant over, even though I'm not a boomer. Okay. So I'm just old enough to be like, back in my day. Okay, so I finished. Ta-da! Okay, let me zoom you guys out. Oop, that's probably not enough. Let me zoom you guys out and turn this around. Ta-da! So you can see the whole thing. So there we have it. My next to last finish for 2021. I just love the way these stained glass looks. I love the little clouds up here, the sun, and then this big wave, and how it looks like a yin and yang, and then the white. So this will make a nice addition to my portfolio. I'm looking forward to that. Maybe I'll put the ones like these that I have together and make like a little collection inside my portfolio. I don't know. Anyway, there's my whip and chat for today, you guys. Again, I hope everyone had a really awesome holiday. I hope you got all the gifts that you wanted, and I hope you are happy and healthy into the new year. If you like this video, guys, don't forget to do all the things before you leave. Give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification icon so that you can be informed of future uploads. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching.